So a lot of my students regularly deal with nerves. I deal with them myself. Generally, they're dealing with nerves when it comes to competition, but also just training. I'm seeing more and more students coming in nowadays dealing with like their nerves, or what everyone, the hot word or hot trigger word right now everyone's using is anxiety. I don't even hear people say nerves or being nervous anymore. What happened to being nervous? All I ever hear is anxiety this, anxiety that, and I get it. But first we gotta start there. It's okay to be nervous. Why does everyone have to jump to anxiety? It's honestly the root to the entire problem, is that we jump to these trigger words instead of just allowing ourselves to be a little nervous. So you're already going from 0 to 60. And for more and more people coming to train, that trigger happens just doing class, being overwhelmed with the techniques, being overwhelmed with the training, being out of shape, whatever. I see their nerves rattling them, and I work to calm them down and get them through the training. Different levels of training. When you first start, you've got nerves and anxieties about the training itself and your lack of knowledge. Then as you get better, you have mounting anxieties about the increasing intensity of the training, holding on to the knowledge you have gained, but also being able to bank the continuing complexities of what you are doing. And then on top of all that, you throw competition into the mix. Competition is a whole nother animal. And if you've ever competed, or if you're considering competing, you're feeling the nerves. It's the preparation for the competition. It's the competition itself. No one can blame anyone for being nervous. I keep using the word nervous instead of anxiety. It's okay to have nerves. We don't need to jump all the way to anxiety, because anxiety, again, being a trigger word, will shut people down completely. With this said, how do we go about dealing with our anxieties or our nerves when it comes to competition, or even just training itself, or showing up to sparring, or showing up to open mats, or training with people you don't know? Whatever currently makes you nervous about your martial arts training, whether it be Jiu Jitsu or Muay Thai or boxing, or these forms of combat or martial arts training, we all have something that triggers some kind of nervous tension within us. How do we go about calming that or dealing with it? I guess the important thing is to really understand what exactly it is and who's responsible for it. Let's talk about your brain, because honestly, the answer to all those questions is you. You have to understand that your brain, and by extension your body, does not know the difference between anxiety and excitement. Your brain fires the same way in both situations. This is why both of those things, anxiety and excitement, share the same physiological responses. This is the important part that you need to understand. The difference is not how your body reacts, but it's how your mind interprets it. And who is in charge of that interpretation? You. You tell your mind exactly what it is, anxiety or excitement. And the more you do it, your mind will lock it in and make it your natural reaction to that situation. If you're nervous about rolling, you have created that within your mind, because every time you have gone to roll and you have felt this feeling, you've had a physiological response right before rolling. You have told your mind that you are nervous about it, that you have anxieties about it, and your mind will protect you, and it will reinforce what you are saying, and it will cause mounting stress on you mentally, physically, and emotionally. But what if you told yourself, I'm excited. Man, ooh, I can feel the excitement in my body. And you rewired your mind. You would start to look forward to that type of training. You would grow to love it. You would grow to be excited about it. Your mind would start to understand that the reaction that you're having is excitement, not anxiety. This is how we rewire our mind to deal with our nerves, to channel them the right way. There's an old saying about having butterflies. It's that you make your butterflies fly in formation. And the simplicity of that is really just controlling your reactions by controlling your mind. It is your mind. Your mind can be your greatest ally or your worst enemy. You decide. You have to always remember that you are in charge up here. But you have to be consistent in the way that you direct your mind by interpretation. How you interpret the things around you and the things that are happening to you, and what you're telling your mind to do when you start to feel physiological reactions. What are you telling your mind that means to you? Your mind will reinforce that. Now, if you're trying to rewire your mind as far as having negative feelings towards something, You have to be consistent in an effort to change the negative interpretation that you have planted there. And over time, you will teach your mind to reinterpret that. And you'll be able to channel your responses and your energy in a more beneficial way. I see fighters and competitors and martial artists, even students, channel their nerves in so many different ways. I've known fighters who use anger to deal with their nerves. You know, they try to get angry and amped up, like deal with the nerves that way by being just fired up and angry. I've seen people try to get fired up in the sense of hyping themselves up and using that physical response as like energy and getting super hyped, but then usually that causes like a pretty heavy drop. I've seen people try to force themselves into like this almost Zen calmness to deal with the nerves. Everyone has a different way of dealing with the anxieties surrounding competition or training. But always remember that the head of it all, literally, is your mind. And remember, you are in charge of your mind. It's gonna take some effort. You're gonna have to rewire some habitual thinking that you have, some repetitive reactions that you have formed. But over time, it can be done. But no one else can do it for you. You have to do it. So remember, anxiety or excitement, you decide. How do you want to feel before doing some type of training or doing a competition? Okay guys, I hope that was helpful. I hope you enjoyed the video. As always, please be sure to like and subscribe, and we'll see you in the next one.